What's going on, everybody? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604, and yes, I'm about to go on another rant. So I tried to hold off this one as long as I could, but I'm noticing a trend in the sim racing online community, both in the comments section and reviews of Project Cars 2, reviews of F1 2017, and what we're seeing is a trend where sim racers like to criticize the physics of these games. And anytime I post a video about Project Cars, inevitably somebody goes in the comments section and says it's, Project Cars is undrivable, but it looks beautiful. So I got to thinking, why is this? Why do the developers not spend time just making the physics better? Assetto Corsa does it very well, rFactor 2 does it very well, AMS does it very well. Why doesn't Codemasters just implement this across the board? Why don't they work on the physics? And then I looked at the numbers. So just to give you an idea, these are sort of extreme cases, but you'll get the picture. So Gran Turismo 3 for PlayStation 4 has sold an amazing 15 million copies. Forza Motorsport 3 for Xbox 360 has sold 5.5 million copies. And just to put that in perspective, Assetto Corsa for PC has sold about 500,000 units. That's an impressive number, but it's a drop in the bucket next to these juggernauts. Now keep in mind, Gran Turismo All-In has probably sold about 100 million copies, including every title in the series, and Forza will be significantly less than that, but still in the double-digit millions. So if you're Bandai Namco, if you're Codemasters, if you're somebody like that, Slightly Mad Studios, where is your time going to go? If you want to make money, if you want to sell units, what you're going to do is you're going to make a very turn it on, jump in a car, and drive kind of game. You're not going to be focused on physics. So what the popular consumer wants is a game where you jump into the Ferrari F40 or something like that, power slide around every curve, and have a beautiful sunset behind you on perhaps a fictional track. So that is what's selling. So that is where the developers are spending their time. We're, gaining popularity as sim racers, but we're still just a vocal minority. And just for some more perspective on numbers, Automobilista has sold about 45,000 units, and rFactor 2 has sold about 60,000. So when you consider how popular rFactor 2 is in the sim racing world, consider also that it would have to double its sales, and it would still be shy of 1% of the sales of Gran Turismo 3. So if you're, again, a developer and you're just thinking, how am I going to make money, you're not catering to sim racers, and that's just a cold, hard fact. So if you're thinking to yourself, if you're listening to this so far and you have steam rolling out your ears saying, Mike, you're missing the point, that doesn't mean you can't make a great racing game with good physics. And that much is true. However, just consider that if you did make a great racing game, let's say the next title in the Forza series had awesome, realistic physics like rFactor 2, your casual gamer who powers on their console and, jumps in there with a controller is going to miss every turn, they're going to be sliding off the road, and they're going to go on the internet and say this game is undrivable, it's terrible to drive, it's no fun, and the development companies are going to take a large hit. So they have really no reason to cater to sim racers. So like I say, it's just a cold hard fact that the money is with arcade-style racing games. So nobody should be too upset or surprised when a new title is released and they have not improved the physics. As sim racers, we would love to see it, myself included, but I also look at it as a business and I see why they wouldn't spend a lot of time with that. So just kind of my thoughts there on things. So the big takeaway for the development companies is that the money is with arcadey games. Let people jump in, have a good time right from the start. They don't want to spend a lot of time learning it. Sure, as sim racers, we know there's a fantastic payoff when you do learn how to drive a car really well. But the developers aren't going to worry about us, and that's just kind of a cold, hard fact. So, gonna kind of wrap things up now. But the takeaway for us, I said the takeaway for the development companies is that the money is with arcade-style racing games. But the takeaway for us is, again, we shouldn't be too upset when a new title is released and doesn't have great physics. What we should be focusing our attention on is talking to the game development companies that we know, Kunos and guys like that, who do make great racing games. And the next title in their series, we can also focus on the modding communities. There's no reason, with the way Assetto Corsa looks and the way R-Factor 2 drives and things like that, there's no reason these games can't be around for a lot of years. A lot of people still get great pleasure out of GTR 2, which is a very, very old title now. So if we focus on the mods, just continuing to work with these titles, we can get years of pleasure out of this. And again, we can also focus our attention on letting the sim racing development companies know to keep up the good work and support those titles how we can. Vote with your dollar, give them your money, and don't focus your attention on the poor physics of newer games. So that's it. That's the end of my rant. I did not mean to insult any sim racers or anybody who prefers the arcade style. These are just my feelings. I would love to hear your comments below on how you feel about the physics in games. As I say, it's a trend. Anyway, there's been a few reviews lately just really throwing shade towards Project Cars 2 and F1 2017. But again, I'm not mad at the development studios for that, because they're not going to necessarily cater to us just because of sheer numbers. So you can make a great racing game with great physics, but that's not where the development studios are going to spend their time, and that's just a fact. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, and keep it locked for another video.